What is going on, guys? I know it was only a few days ago that I updated you on my knee, and as you can see, I'm walking actually fairly good, going down the stairs all right and everything. And some of you were like, hey, if you want your MRI results quicker, you know, call your doctor. They might be able to email them over to you or whatever. So I contacted them, and they were like, oh, we actually had a cancellation. We can get you in today, which is Wednesday. So I was like, oh, well, guess I'll come in and see you guys on Wednesday. So we're getting in the truck now. But yeah, on our way to see the doctor and find out what they saw on the MRI and see what the next steps are. So let's get going. Olszewski, O-L-S. All right, pause real quick. I know what you guys are thinking. DeeO, that is a super dope shirt. And to that I say, you have amazing taste. So this is from Into the AM. They contacted me, asked if they could send me some products and a little bit of money to check out their stuff. As soon as I jumped on the website, I was like, yes, absolutely. This stuff is super sick. You guys are probably like me where 99.1% of your wardrobe is dirt bike related t-shirts. Well, now is the time to branch out with some different apparel, get some variety, you know, variety's the spice of life, into your life. If you don't like the crazy graphic stuff like this, they also have the basic shirt, which is one of the most comfortable shirts. No, the most comfortable shirt I have ever felt. I have a black one and a white one. Just has the little design right there. Absolutely love it. Check out their website. Use code DeeO, or if you click the link in the description, you can get yourself a 3-pack of the basic tees for 45 bucks, or a 3-pack of the graphic tees for 60, and then with my code 10% off on there. It's code DeeO. Click the link in the description. Get yourself some. You'll be very happy you did. Appreciate it, guys. Now let's go back to the knee appointment. And guess what? I haven't even been yet, so this is gonna be news to me too. Let's go. Hey.
Sorry for keeping you here.
No, that's all good.
Like
it hurts.
We're live?
Yeah, is that cool? I mean, not live, but recording.
Recording.
I've been describing to people, it feels like someone has like pliers and they're just pinching it like as hard as they can, like inside in there.
That feels terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Well, did you get your MRI?
Yeah, I got it on Monday.
Did you get a report?
No.
Okay. Well, I wish I had better news to share. This kind of separation here makes me a little concerned that there's a lateral meniscus tear.
Okay.
The other thing I'm noticing in this image is, do you see how all the bone is kind of this dark color?
Yeah.
And then you've got this area of whiteness right here and here.
Yes.
See that?
Like
So
smash there.
exactly. That's a pivot shift bone bruise or a kissing lesion. So when you put your leg out and you twist it, these two things hit. In order for these two areas to hit, you have to tear your ACL.
Yeah.
Which is just the worst. I know. It's like, are you having deja vu yet?
You know, yeah.
There's that evidence of the bone bruise.
Okay.
White.
Yep.
The cartilage here looks fine. There's meniscus. There's meniscus. And right through here, where that whiteness is where I'm worried about the lateral meniscus tear.
Okay.
Which
right.
could make sense on why you're getting so much of that pain right here on the outside, because that's
Okay.
where it is. Also, that's where the bone bruise is, and the bone bruise is what actually hurts a lot.
Gotcha.
So it
Okay.
could be one of those two things. So on the lateral side, right, the bone bruising, the pivot shift bone bruise, the kissing lesion. And as we go in, here's PCL, normal, following from here to here, thick black ligament. ACL should look the same. There it is, not really there.
Right.
That's where it should be. Those are little fibers of it, but it's completely ruptured. But you know, you're in kind of a contact sport. You know, I think that this is something that maybe we should consider getting a matching set.
Yeah. I'm thinking doing the same patellar
That's what I would recommend, especially because it's worked so well for you before.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
If you had a bad experience, I'd maybe consider something, but it's the gold standard.
Okay.
It's a great, reliable, trustworthy graft. It's got nice bone-on-bone fixation. It's what I would do again.
Okay.
Look at the meniscus. That may need to be repaired, sewn back together.
Okay, so that'd be, again, the same as the other one.
Crutches for the 4 weeks.
Yep, okay.
Range of motion 0 to 90 for 6. Yeah, it's eerily similar to the other side.
Yeah. So, of course, I'm not going to go like the 2 years or anything like that, but
Yeah.
I do want to at least get through summer.
Okay.
And then do it when it's going to be during fall, winter.
Yeah.
So I do have some stuff lined up that I'm planning to ride Saturday. I didn't ride last weekend, but I'm planning to ride. It's like, I feel like it feels like the other one when I rode on it before.
Okay. Just be careful. I mean, the stuff that worries me is any lateral movement, cutting and pivoting. So the one thing that I worry about when you're doing that kind of activity in an ACL deficient knee is that you can repivot the knee. Okay. So the bones can twist and hit again. If you repivot the knee without the ACL, the next things that kind of step in place to try to stabilize it are the meniscus and cartilage.
Okay, right.
If you repivot it and you start damaging those kind of structures, that stuff doesn't come back. So you can't regrow the cartilage, you can't like replace the meniscus. Okay. So that's the stuff I'd be very careful on. That's the risk of continuing activity like that on the ACL deficient knee. If you, sorry, what a bummer.
Yeah, not your fault, but thank you.
I know, but it's still not easy.
Yeah. And then 6 to 8 months probably, right? Something like that. Yeah. Well, that sucks. We kind of felt that was coming, but now it's confirmed. ACL tear, possible meniscus tear, same as the left knee was. So yeah, whatever. Let's get on home. I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit more because I was totally expecting this. Unfortunately, I was going in with low expectations, high hopes, low expectations, but that's how it went. So yeah, I have a little monologue planned to talk to you guys about, but I'll catch up with you at home.
Picking up for Allison. Give me just a second, brother.
I think it might be those two. Huh?
1 and 2 right there.
Wonderful, thank you so much. I had to stop and get Starbucks because after finding out news like you tore your ACL and meniscus, you gotta treat yourself a little bit. We're back home now, and I actually wrote this last night at 10:45, and so I'm not gonna like script it and read through it, but I'm going to give my thoughts here and just monologue a little bit. So that's what I'm gonna set you guys up. I'm gonna sit here and have a little chat. So let's get into it. So we just got back from the doctor, found out that I did indeed tear my ACL and my meniscus. And obviously injuries suck, but as you know, we're motocross riders, we know that the next injury could be just around the next corner or over the next jump. And they range from just a scrape on your elbow or, you know, taking a little squid squad spill to, you know, breaking a collarbone or something like that. Breaking a wrist, tearing an ACL, which I'm all too familiar with. And of course, we know that on the extreme end could result in death or paralysis, but we're going to steer clear of that extreme today. Starting in 2017, I began my string of injuries. So in November, I had pretty much just gotten a Honda. I think I got it in October, and I tore my ACL. Not a great way to introduce myself to the Honda 450, but it was nothing with the Honda. I just caught my foot and tore my ACL. I ended up getting surgery on the meniscus to get it cleaned up, cut out, but I didn't get an ACL replacement. So I was just running around with no ACL in my left knee. And then the following year in July, I broke my collarbone. It was this side. I broke my collarbone. A few months later, after I was back on the bike, I started having some back pain, and I had herniated discs in my back and neck, so then I had to take care of that. Then the next year, I had my worst injury, which is where I broke my wrist, dislocated it, broke the radius and the ulna and the lunate, and that was a pretty gnarly one. And then in March of last year, 2020, is when I finally got my left ACL fixed up. So we went through that whole recovery, and I was fingers crossed that my bad luck string of injuries was over. Here we are sitting here in 2021, and it most definitely isn't, because late April, I caught my right knee, dumb little mistake, and I ended up tearing my ACL, which is the whole point of this video. So I can't find a common denominator for all these injuries, except that they happen to me. But both the knee ones have a common denominator, and that is I was trying to get clips for YouTube. When I first did my left knee, or when I did my left knee in November of 2017, I just hit the corner pretty well, and I went to Tony. And actually, one of the common denominators is Tony was there, but we're not going to blame Tony. I hit the corner really well, and I was like, Tony, I hit that corner really good. Can you get a clip of it for me? And he's like, yeah, sure. So he's holding the GoPro. I hit it. That's when I catch my knee. And then this last one, of course, Daddy DeeO always getting the footage for me. I'm like, hey, let's get a clip of this corner. He gets in position, I catch my knee. So I think this is the epitome of causation isn't correlation. It's not that YouTube caused these, but it's just kind of a shot to the gut where it's like, would I have had these injuries if I wasn't doing YouTube videos? Like if I wasn't hitting this corner over and over and over and trying to hit it as fast as I could and get as low as I could, would I have these injuries? And that's not me saying like I'm going to stop YouTube. I just thought it was kind of something funny, worth mentioning that both of them have been when I was trying to get YouTube clips to add to my videos. So jumping back to injuries and how bad they suck. Of course, earlier this year in Supercross, we had McAdoo with some weird injuries or some crashes and everything, and people were saying maybe he was riding over his head. Were my injuries due to me riding over my head? I truly don't think so. Both my knees can be chalked up to, just a mistake in a corner. I just put my foot out weird and caught it in the dirt and tore the ACL. That's not riding over my head, in my opinion. The collarbone, maybe a little bit. I was riding a little close to Evan, but when that happened, he was in front of me and he hit a neutral, and that's when I hit his back tire and I crashed into the wall at IMI. I don't think that's riding over my head. The wrist was just a freak accident where Christopher cross-rutted in front of me. He was crashing, shot across the track, crashed on the face of the jump, and then I plowed into him and went up and over. I was just riding normally. I wasn't pushing the edge or out of control. It was just a freak accident. So I don't think any of these big injuries I've had are any fault of riding over my head. I think the only times I've really rode over my head and crashed, at least recently, are at Thunder Valley, where I jumped down the step up the first lap and I slid out sideways. That was just me being impatient. First lap, that was probably riding over my head. And maybe a few of those slip outs the past 2 or 3 years, not the squid squads, but the slip outs as I'm like battling when we're racing and I'll just wash it in a corner because I'm trying to push so much harder. I think that could be riding over my head, but I don't think any of these major injuries are anything with me riding over my head, at least personally. After tearing the ACL, I was joking with my buddy Dylan, saying like, dude, the market's hot right now. I'm going to sell the bike, hang up the boots, move into RC cars. I'm sick of getting hurt. But of course, that was all just a joke. There's absolutely no way I could give up motocross. One of my favorite quotes is from Aldo Leopold, and it is, "It must be a poor life that achieves freedom from fear." And I think about that anytime, maybe for you guys, teachers or classmates, for me, it's coworkers, are like, hey, you keep getting hurt. Maybe you should find something else to do. And it's like, all right, well, I could sit on the couch and watch Big Bang Theory all weekend long like you do, and maybe I wouldn't get hurt, but is that the life I wanted to live? No, that's not the life I want to live. I enjoy getting out there, and that always makes me think, like, if I had been hiking and, stepped weird and twisted my knee and tore my ACL, would I be getting the same grief as when I'm out riding my dirt bike? Is it just because it's a dirt bike that people are having this negative connotation? If I was, maybe even skiing or, like I said, hiking or playing with my dog, I feel like people wouldn't have such a negative feeling about it, but that's not the life we want to live. We love getting out there and being active, and this is just an unfortunate side effect that goes along with the sport we love. Riffing off of that though, motocross is definitely it's not if you get injured, it's when. We all know that it's a possibility. However, we knowingly put on our helmet and go out there and ride every weekend. I'm well aware that if perhaps I had better technique and better form when I was on the bike, I could have avoided at least these knee injuries. I always get people commenting like, well, look at the pros. They keep their leg high and tight to the bike. And yeah, for the most part they do, but the differentiator is they're pros and I'm not. They're better than me. That's all there is to it. And I try to work on that stuff, but it doesn't always go according to plan. And it's not like the pros don't tear their ACLs or break wrists or break their collarbones either. It's just an inevitable part of the sport that these things can happen. And I've seen some of you guys mention knees over toes on Instagram, and I did follow that doctor. I don't know, but I'll be checking out his stuff as we go along here. But yeah, some better form on my part, but telling me that now doesn't really help me. Hopefully moving forward, I can work on it, but it's really hard to break habits of how you've rode the past 27 years. But we'll do our best to work on it. And it's just, you know, hindsight's always 20/20. It's like you shouldn't have done that in the corner, but you could live your whole life saying you shouldn't have done that, or however you want to look at it. So yeah, we've had some bad luck on the bike, but I really, truly do think it's exactly that, just bad luck. This is just another hurdle to overcome, and I'm gonna work hard. I wanna ride the rest of this summer, maybe get this surgery more towards October, so about a year from now, it'll be, you know, that 6-month period where I might be about to get back on the bike, but at least finish out this summer and then get the surgery. But I'm gonna be working hard to get my knees strong, maybe lose some weight so I'm not putting as much pressure onto my knees. I feel like that could be a factor, and as always, working on my form and technique, and to hopefully make that a little bit better and keep my riding a little bit safer. All right, guys, just to close it down, am I upset about my knee? Yeah, of course, absolutely. Am I gonna ride after I get the surgery and I recover? Yeah, absolutely. That's just how it goes in our sport, and kind of the point of this. Injuries suck, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
We'll still be up the track as much as we can this summer, keeping it safe, and then get that surgery later in the year. But that's that, guys. I just wanted to have a little sit-down chat with you. Thank you so much for watching. Again, check out Into the AM, code DeeO, or click the link down below. They have some really cool apparel and stuff, so seriously, check that out, and it helps me out if you purchase from them. But until next time, as always, take it easy if it's easy. Take it twice. Talk to you later. One other thing I was going to mention and actually forgot, you guys know on my channel and everything, I try and keep things lighthearted, positive, and just always be upbeat about stuff as much as possible, even when it's an injury. But I guess one thing we can look forward to when I'm off the bike for 6 months, or 6 to 8, whatever, for this ACL recovery, give us a little bit more time to spend with this guy. And Allison and I were already talking, like, almost plan it to where he's starting to walk when I'm walking, and hey, we can learn to walk together. But yeah, so we'll get to hang out with little Ezra a little bit more. But anyway, that's gonna conclude it, guys. I already said it once, but thank you so much for watching. Until next time, as always, take it easy if it's easy. Take it twice. Talk to you later.